Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I am here with a fun, quick little dandelion wildflower type painting with a little ladybug just to add a little bit more interest to it. We're going to do the whole painting with cosmetic sponges. These are a lovely, soft, dense sponge. I've taken two of them and set them side by side, rubber banded them, and then snipped with scissors, just like that, to give me these lovely little petals. And I'm hoping that when we stamp this down and around, we get those little floaty wishes off of a dandelion. We're going to get started really quick here. I want to put a background that is really dark. So I'm going to take phthalo green, phthalo blue, and some light yellow azo just in the center part. And we're going to see how this goes. I may not have quite enough paint. Actually, I don't think I do. I will take one of my pieces of sponge and I will get it slightly damp in water. I just got it wet. It's not wringing out, but it is wet. Now I want to start in the center and just get my yellow worked first, and then work out into the blue and the green. I'm just keeping it flat down and letting it do its thing. We're getting texture in the background this way. We're getting a lovely variation of tones. We're not worried about making it perfect. So now I'm going to take and make this feel a little bit more like plants. This outside edge, I'm just going to kind of go out and away towards the outside edge. Like this. You see, it's nice and dark. This is already giving us kind of that flower type of feel going on. We're moving it out from the center, going away. But our dandelion is actually going to be standing. So I'm taking the edge of the sponge and I'm kind of pushing some of this paint away. Just using the edge of the sponge. Look at that. Ooh, we could get some really cool, almost like an avocado. We could get an avocado out of that, couldn't we? But we're not doing that. I just wanted to get some of that paint smushed out of the way so it's a little bit lighter here in the center. It doesn't have to be perfectly light. We are going to dry this with the hair dryer. So having the hair dryer on low heat and just let it dry. This has just a tiny little thin layer of dry paint on top of all of this thick paint. The center here is dry enough. You don't want to go in and push around on it really hard, but you can still paint on top of it. The paint will stick. I did stick that sponge into a cup of water so that way the paint doesn't dry on it. I'll be able to rinse it out and use it again. See, this is one that I used previously for another painting, and I just washed it out. Got a little stained, but staining doesn't affect how it paints. So I'm going to take a bit of white and put it out right here. And we are going to go ahead and put our very light, they're going to be kind of out of focus wish flowers in the background. I'm going to be pushing them in. Need to see which side looks like it's going to give me, that side there looks like it's going to give me the best little wishes, little petals. So I'm putting the paint on the outside, little arms here, and then maybe on the inside of those little arms too, because sometimes you flip it around and you don't know which side you don't even know which side you're going to use. Now I am going to draw my little center bit right here, just with one of those little arms that has all that paint on it. Okay, this is the center. This is where all of those little flower bits are coming off of. And now I want to go ahead, before we put the stem and the little hanging down leaves, I want to put a few of these, just like that. You see, it's very abstract. And I haven't even recharged this with more paint yet, because I want them to be sort of out of focus. Look at that. See, we're already getting this beautiful little flower shape going on. Now, I do want to get a few indications of some stems in, and I don't want it to be completely yellow. So I think, completely yellow. I don't want the stems to be completely white. So I'm going to take a touch of yellow and a touch of cadmium red. Now, if you have allergies to cadmium, or if you don't want to use it where your fingers are going to be touching it, you could wear gloves, or you could use naphthol red or pyrrole red. I'm just going to mix up kind of an orangey color and then pull a little bit of white into it. I don't want it to be completely red or completely yellow. I want it to be sort of a light brownish tone. And I'm using the edge of the sponge. This is still just painting with a sponge. And I'm going to just give myself a few little lines coming out. These are very light. They are not, they're not super defined. They're going to blend into the background. But by bringing them out like this, now, before I put my more strong flower wishes on, I have this done already. So you make some of these just a little bit lighter. Now, you see what happened here? I just sort of slid across instead of just making it a strong line. It's not a big deal because you're going to be there, look at that. You're going to be putting things in here, but if it really bothers you, you can take a little corner of your sponge and dip it into some of that paint that you wiped off and just make it go darker. We're not even going to notice that. Once we've put on the rest of the leaves and things. Wow, that's already looking so cool. Now, with that little bit of blue that's on there, that blue-green, I'm going to take some white and yellow with that little, whoops. Well, I didn't want red. Flip it over. You've got all kinds of corners on this sponge. I want yellow and white and a tiny bit of green into that. If there was a little bit of red still in there, that's okay. I'm going to draw from here straight down and through. By doing that, we're getting that lovely kind of creamy yellow. It's a consistent width. This is probably the easiest I've ever put something like that in. I'm going to take some of that darker color that's come off on my sponge right up here under the the flower head. I am going to take some of that blue and green now and some more yellow and make those little hanging down green, maybe even a touch of water. Ooh, yeah, that's going to make it flow easier. Those little hanging down green bits from underneath of the flower head, they're this really cool little shape, little green branch or leaves. Maybe even a touch of red on that now, just to give it a little bit of variation. Again, we're doing this abstracted, so it doesn't have to be. There we go. See? Even putting a little bit of white onto it, maybe a little bit of yellow. Just sort of spark them up. You want to be able to see them. These paints are very highly pigmented. They do cover really nicely, but just like all acrylic paints, they are going to dry a little bit darker. Oh, that was a little bit more exciting there. That's okay. We're just going to take some more green. Boop. And just make that one a longer little stem. See, don't fuss, don't worry. Just play with it. See what the colors are going to do for you. See, look at that. Now maybe I want a little bit more pigment there, but I want it a little more yellowy, but a little bit brighter. Just like that. Ooh. Okay, this is really starting to look cool. Now I'm going to take, I have not washed the sponge out. I don't want to get it sopping wet. So I'm going to take some of that red and the green and kind of mix them together. Get sort of a brownie tone. And using that edge, I am going to create some seeds where those little wishes are popping off of. That red and the green makes kind of a brown tone. Just like that. You know, and they don't have to be perfect. But boy, that's very effective. And then I'm just going to take the tiny corner and just barely touch and create some little marks. We're going to put some more dandelion wishes on here. These are going to be a little bit bigger, and I'm going to try and push a little bit harder. Whoops, wrong side. Push a little bit. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is pretty. And right down here. Oh my gosh. Did you believe that that was going to happen so quickly? Okay, so now I'm not going to use this anymore. Well, maybe I will, just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, so I'm going to use this. Just give me a couple more, maybe sticking out ones just a little bit. Rotate your sponge just a little so you can get a few different marks. You don't want it to look like you were stamping. All right, there we go. I'm done with this part. We've got our little stems in. We have our main stem. We've got the dripping down greenery. We've got the center. All we need is the ladybug. And to put the ladybug in, I am going to put out some more of the cadmium red. Whoa, that's probably way more cadmium red than I need. Take a little piece of that sponge, dip it in the red paint, and we're going to come and put our ladybug on. We're just going to dab that little ladybug on. Just like that. I'm going to pick up some of that blue and green mixture, I think, mixed with just right on the end of my sponge, and that gives us that really dark color. We don't have to use black. Then we can go and put a little line down her back, give her a few random spots. Just like that. I'm going to sort of stamp this off because I want to pick up a bit of white. Just like that. We're going to give her, and I'm using it on the corner. Give her one eye there and one eye here. Now I'm working kind of far away. She's sort of looking sideways going, ooh, what's going on over there? I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, give her a few little highlights on her back. You could dry this first. A better little glop of white to put her eyes in again. There we go. She's got big eyes. I like big eyes on my bugs. And maybe I want her body to be a little bit whiter. So I'll just make it a little bit whiter, like that. And maybe I want a little bit of shadow around her. I'll go and grab some of that dark and just put a little tap of that in. We're doing it all with a sponge. So it's not going to be perfect. This is an exercise in letting go. And maybe we want to give a bit of some shape to her eyeball area here. Like that. I need a little bit more white. See, I'm just fiddling now. I am just fiddling now. So, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please click that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video with your friends. Making her head a little bit bigger, I think. Giving her some more spots. She's abstract. She's lovely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell. And make sure to turn on notifications on your phone because that makes a big difference. YouTube won't let you know if you've got notifications turned off on your phone. Remember, go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I hope to see you back here again really soon. Bye-bye.